Good afternoon. My name's Pat McCrory, Governor of North Carolina. We were not planning to hold this conference this afternoon. We had just done one in Kinston, but there's been some pretty dramatic changes and events during the last 6 hours, and we wanted to make sure the public was notified of exactly what's happening regarding Hurricane Matthew. Sadly, we have just been informed of 2 more storm-related deaths, bringing the death total to 22 people. Lenore County, a vehicle went around a closed road, went around the barricade, and drove into a washed-out section of the roadway, and the individual drowned and lost their life. In Robinson County, a man walking in the neighborhood fell into a hole of an uprooted tree and couldn't get out, and subsequently lost his life. We have heard that there could be another fatality that's still being investigated at this point in time, and we'll give you an up-to-date on that. We've stressed again to please be safe, stay off the roads, stay out of water, recognize that even when the water is out and gone, even walking can be extremely treacherous conditions. Our prayers are with the families being impacted by this tragedy. The other thing that's happened in the last several hours is Princeville is basically underwater at this point in time. I just flew over Princeville, and I've also talked to their outstanding mayor, Bobby Jones. Them and Edgecombe County officials have done an outstanding job in ensuring that the entire town was evacuated. I just cannot praise them more. We have not had a loss of life in a town that is totally underwater at this point in time. And it is probably around 10 to 12 feet from what I saw in certain areas of Princeville. And the mayor just went out on a boat to see what his city looked like, his town looked like for the first time. And this man is a strong, strong mayor. He says this city's going to come back. And I'm going to see him tomorrow morning. We're going to see firsthand on the ground the conditions. But the water rose very rapidly. It was about a foot this morning, and now it's 10 feet. And it's above many, many roofs of many residential homes, including mobile homes. So it's the worst conditions, and maybe even worse than what we saw in Lumberton. And again, these are 2 cities 100 miles away from each other or more. And this is how widespread this hurricane is impacting the state of North Carolina. But again, I cannot tell you how proud I am of Edgecombe County and the entire region for making sure the residents did evacuate. I want to praise the residents also for taking the evacuation order seriously and doing what's right. Now, Princeville sadly has a history of this because during Hurricane Floyd, these citizens were given no warning whatsoever, and it was a terrible, terrible tragedy. But because of advanced modeling that Princeville was going to flood, we did advise them to evacuate, and they just did an outstanding job in doing just that. And again, I can't tell you how much more I appreciate their leadership. In Edgecombe County, there are 6 shelters open with 362 occupants. And these numbers are expected to rise in the coming days. And we're going to do everything we can to help these people in the shelters in Edgecombe County. All 6 shelters do have power, food, water, health care, cots, and blankets. I want to really thank the American Red Cross and the Department of Social Services, who are also on site in the shelters. We have also sent additional resources to Edgecombe County in preparation of flooding, including 50 National Guard troops with 25 high water vehicles. We want to make sure there's no looting or people stealing from these vacant homes. And also State Highway Patrol troopers, swift water rescue teams, and several local emergency managers with food, water, cots, and medical supplies. I want to let them know we will be with you, and we'll do everything we can, Mayor, to help you rebuild this city. And also steps need to be taken where this won't happen again in the future. And we'll be with you in that fight also. I want to also compliment, as I did earlier today, Mayors B.J. Murphy in Kinston and Mayor Chuck Allen in Goldsboro. Kinston, the water is still rising. Goldsboro, the water is receding, but in Goldsboro we saw a lot of businesses underwater, a lot of houses underwater, and they've got quite a challenge. The town center is free from any damage, and right now I think the sewer system is okay, water sewer system. Cherry Hospital, it seems to be protected, and we're very pleased with that. Norfolk Southern Railroad is closed at this point in time, has been closed for several days in the Goldsboro area, and I'd like to thank Norfolk Southern for trying to help with the tracks as much as possible. There's also some incredible volunteers who, with boats, are taking hay over to farmers that are trapped in the waters, outside the waters, but they're on an island, and there are efforts to continue to feed the livestock. It is quite unique in Goldsboro right now. There are pigs walking through certain neighborhoods, and it's a surreal experience to see this happening with a beautiful sunshiny day. Also, sadly, in Goldsboro, the first responders are having to deal with a graveyard in which some of the bodies, caskets, are coming up out of the ground. And I think they've removed 10 to 20 caskets and have taken them away. But it was just a surreal experience to see that also. But again, I want to thank the first responders and all the emergency workers in Goldsboro who helped with that and respected that situation. Very, very difficult situation to see caskets in the water. I do want to let you know, in addition to the outstanding work that the leaders have done in Princeville, I'm also glad to report that more federal assistance is now available for people in 6 counties. Jones and Gates County are now eligible for public and individual assistance. And in Hyde, Dare, Duplin, Pender counties, they can now apply for federal assistance as individuals. And that's very, very good news. The roads in Edgecombe County are, a lot of them are closed. I flew over them just a few hours ago. Multiple primary and secondary roads are closed in much parts, especially near the river. We have 2 closures in NC 33 near Tarboro. I want to really thank the people of Tarboro. They still also have some flooding, not nearly as bad as Princeville, but the people of Tarboro are helping the people of Princeville. And the mayor was very complimentary of Edgecombe County, the people of Tarboro, for working together. They're in a shelter there, and the mayor made a special point of saying they're taking care of our children and even giving them entertainment activities. The spirit of that mayor just moved me tremendously, and I look forward to seeing him tomorrow. NC 97 is closed west of Tarboro. The north side of NC 111 near the town of Princeville is closed. US 258 is impassable in both directions between NC 97 and NC 122, and is closed north of Tarboro between Lawrence and Princeville. US 64 near Tarboro is closed in both directions, and drivers again need to be aware that you cannot rely on your GPS. Sometimes the GPS might just take you into more flooded waters. So you need to call 511 or visit readync.org for the latest road closure updates. We are down to 43,753 power outages from across the state, from a peak of over 800,000, almost 900,000 power outages. Sadly, some of these power outages that are in the areas that were suffering the most, primarily Robinson County and, of course, Princeville is totally shut down. But no one is living there at this point in time. Most of the people are in shelters or with loved ones away from the danger at this point in time. Also, the water sewer system has been shut down in Princeville. I talked to the mayor there. They did that a day or two ago, and that was a very, very smart move there. And we're hoping the whole water system is preserved and can be turned back on within a short period of time. But we're going to have a lot of work to do in Princeville, a lot of work, a lot of recovery. We're going to have to rebuild a town. And I just want to urge all North Carolinians from Asheville to Charlotte to the Triad, all the way down to Raleigh, who are, I was riding the helicopter and just 15 miles away from Princeville, which is totally underwater. People were playing golf on a beautiful day. And that's all good. But the fact of the matter is, we need you to help right now, and we need you to make donations to North Carolina and the NC Disaster Relief Fund for Hurricane Matthew to support long-term recovery efforts. And we need that money as quick as possible. A lot of these individuals are going to need extra money, not just what government can give to them. I also want to again compliment. I'd like to thank Representative Bowles and Representative Faircloth who are in the audience. We'd like to thank you for your leadership in making sure that we have enough money in reserves. And first of all, our storm reserves, and second, and if we need to go to the legislature, we'll let you know when we need to do that. We don't see any immediacy in that need. The federal government, the state government are working very closely with the reserves that we have in place in both DOT funds and other funds. I'm also getting some incredible compliments from some great work from DHHS and some helping some people, and we're still working on medicine issues. And also there's probably going to have to be an issue maybe in January. We're still looking at the rules. Fayetteville, because they still have 2 schools underwater right now, they're probably going to have to be some legislative issues to deal with, and we probably wait till January. And I'm still looking at what powers I have regarding school days for those areas impacted. But there's probably no way some of these areas are going to make up the number of school days based upon the experience that they're going through right now, especially in, in about every county that's under emergency order at this point in time. So with that, that's just the latest information. I felt it was necessary to tell you about this because what happened in Princeville has happened very, very quickly. We did anticipate that, but when you see it, you got to believe it. In fact, I'd like to go ahead and show a video right now of Princeville as of about 3 hours ago that one of my photographers took from coming out of the, it's about a 1-minute video. I'm going to look at it myself. I haven't seen it. See the highway there. The highway was totally underwater, parts of it, and these are the residential neighborhoods. Some 4 feet. We saw some areas at least up to 10 feet above roof level. Got a lot of mobile homes, which are our great concern. A lot of businesses. You see the tops of roofs right there, and businesses underwater. The mayor went out in a boat earlier today, and I can't imagine what the view is from a boat. And again, this is right across the river from Tarboro. And you see the water, Nick, on the road right there. So that's just a brief view, and if you see it in person, believe me, it looks a lot worse. So thank you very much. We can cut that off. So you got to see it to believe it. And we're going to go there tomorrow. Again, I cannot stress to people the water is very dangerous, not just from an aspect of drowning, but it's also not environmentally sound water to even touch. We've got a lot of pollution in some of this water from petroleum, from waste sewage, from other chemicals, possibly from the agricultural community. So we do not want anyone to get in this water as the waters rise, especially in Kinston later on tonight and tomorrow morning. With that, we'd be glad to take any questions you might have. Seeing no questions, thank you all very much. I appreciate it.